Well, hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your twice-weekly dose of the finest two-way propaganda. Oh, frabjous day, Kaloo, Calais, this is it, brothers and sisters. All your calling and bullying politicriters worked. The House added the Hearing Protection Act in its entirety to the budget reconciliation package, and it passed. Now, it's off to the Senate. Unfortunately, the short act didn't make it in this time around, but it is still huge and it might get added by the Senate. What this does do is remove silencers from the NFA altogether. We can't remove them from the GCA using the budget process because the NFA is a tax law and the GCA isn't. So that means if this passes, silencers will be treated just like a gun. You still have to do a background check and fill out a 4473 like you would for a gun, but you can have it right now. And we can make them at home.
I'm making them at night.
They did leave in the $0 transfer tax language we were so mad about, but believe it or not, that's actually a good thing. If reconciliation passes the Senate, no big deal. Cans are out of the NFA anyway. But if it runs into rules issues, at least we know that part will definitely pass the Byrd rule for sure. But the bill really has a pretty decent chance of passing in the Senate, because all they need is 50 votes, and Vance as a tiebreaker. The elites really want this $20 trillion budget. I can't say I'm thrilled about that part, but it's not like they would have been fiscally responsible without the silencer bits anyway. They needed this part for our support, not the other way around. So I think it will pass. And I don't think there is a single senator out there who wants to be the target of the kind of smoke David Kustoff received. And you guys are going to be every bit as relentless in calling the Senate, right? No reason not to get started right now. And to every mouth breather down there in the doobly-doo who is already clumsily hammering out a semi-literate post claiming that calling doesn't accomplish anything, you're flat wrong. After that Quisling Kustoff shafted us by pulling the HPA and replacing it with the $0 tax stamp language, it was your calls that caused the reconciliation package to fail. They want this budget, and they did not have the votes to pass it because of your work. Calling is indeed effective. Keep up the hard work, friends. Call 202-224-3121 right now and tell both of your senators to pass the reconciliation package. Tell them silencers are hearing protection and should not be on the NFA. And while you're at it, tell them to add the short act back in too. But hey, it would be impossible for us to produce quality two-way propaganda without sponsors. So let's pay some bills. Today's video is sponsored by Vortex. The Vortex Defender line features a constant on emitter with no flicker and shake awake, so it's always ready. The Defender CCW is impressively compact for daily carry, the ST is a bit larger, and the XL is an absolute beast with one of the largest windows available on a micro dot. And now, all three are available with a green reticle. And by Springfield Armory. Imagine a 9mm carbine with roller delay action, just like Kraut Space Magic. Now imagine it didn't have garbage ergonomics. The revolutionary new Kuna from Springfield Armory lets you have that roller delayed, smooth recoil you're looking for, but it also gives you a reversible, non-reciprocating charging handle and absolutely everything. So, Connecticut is back in the news, and not because they discovered liberty under a rock somewhere. The state is being sued for refusing to let adults under 21 own or carry a handgun. Yeah, adults. You know, old enough to vote, pay taxes, shoot barefoot people on the other side of the planet with a belt-fed machine gun, but own a pistol?
Nope.
That's way too much responsibility. The Second Amendment Foundation and the Connecticut Citizens Defense League are leading the charge here, backed by two plaintiffs aged 18 and 20. The basis for the suit is the fact that 18 to 20-year-olds are part of the people mentioned in the Constitution. If they weren't, they would not be allowed to do all those other adulting things they're allowed to do. Now, I've said it many times, and I will say it again. If you want to argue that the age of majority should be raised, well, you may have a point. But whatever age we decide that is, must be the same for all adult activities. This is the same tired, elitist rationale we see over and over. We're fine with young people joining the military and carrying a handgun to fight wars overseas, but when they aren't doing the will of the state, their life is no longer worth defending. It is a textbook example of treating rights like privileges. So here's a spicy one. An FBI agent is now facing 4, count them 4, criminal gun charges after shooting an innocent 61-year-old man during a traffic stop, but ironically, he's not getting charged for that. Now, the quick ones among you might ask, why was a Phoeber involved in a traffic stop? Well, he wasn't, and neither was the old man. So best as I know, here's what happened. Sheriff deputies in Stafford County, Virginia say they got a call about a reckless driver on a dirt bike, but some off-duty FBI agent named Benjamin Spinale had already chased the guy off. Then the dude comes back with some family. The deputies stop him. He fights the deputies, and the 61-year-old neighbor comes out to help the cops. That's the point where deputies say Benji shot the old man in the chest and killed him. Of course, as is their custom, the cops found the Fed didn't do anything wrong and declined to charge him with negligent homicide or even cite him for shooting inside of city limits. Now, I don't know if this was actually inside an incorporated city, but the point is, they didn't charge little bro with anything. But what they did find is he already had 4 misdemeanor counts pending for brandishing. Now, I don't know if this guy is a new agent, but the article says he's 43 years old and a lazy internet search indicates the maximum age to become an FBI agent is 39.
Let me do the math here.
So if that's true, this guy has been an agent for at least 4 years. And suddenly, the feds are real quiet. The Bureau is reviewing the matter, which is code for trying to sweep this under the rug without getting roasted in committee hearings. Here's a fun thought experiment. Imagine you decided to go full turbo Karen on some dude on a dirt bike, get the cops involved, drill your innocent neighbor in the chest. Now, I get that it was an accident, but it sounds like he really had no business shooting in the first place. From the sound of it, it was just some cops wrestling with some dumb drunk. There is zero indication the deputies were at a lethal level of force at that moment, but Captain Save-A-Ho, who didn't even need to be involved, decided to just start blasting. You think you'd just walk for that? Would you even still have a job? The Lone Star State just passed HB 3053 banning taxpayer-funded so-called buyback programs. That's right. No more spending your tax money to bribe FUDs into handing over Grandpa's 22 for a $100 Visa card and a pat on the head. It's a bittersweet feeling. As pointless as so-called buybacks are for stopping crime, they were a great way for enterprising individuals to make a quick buck or find some rare guns. Still, it is a win. Gun buybacks don't reduce crime. They don't stop shootings. They don't get guns off the streets. They just disarm the dumb and desperate while letting politicians take selfies in front of folding tables full of rusted old junk and pellet rifles. More importantly, the Texas law also prohibits law enforcement from participating in any buybacks, effectively shutting down this PR stunt at the local level. Maybe now we could get back to spending money on things that matter, like, I don't know, putting violent people behind bars and keeping them there. But hey, don't be sad, little control freak. You can still do a buyback. Private transfers are legal in the state of Texas, and if you have no plans to sell them, then I don't see how you could possibly run afoul of the federal engaged in the business rule. I'm not a lawyer because I can count past 10 with my boots on, but I don't think there is any law stopping you from spending your own money to disarm the poors. Or am I missing something? Would it be legal to run a private buyback so long as you never sold any of the guns? Let me know down there in the doobly-doo. And now, for your moment of zen.
Whatever. Taxation is theft.
Oh! God! Mother...
Hello, friend. Do you like pews and pew-related things? Would you like to help us keep delivering you pure and good American pew propaganda at the low price of $3.99? We literally couldn't pay the bills without our sponsors, so do us a solid and get yourself something nice from them. You deserve it. I love you.